Hello, welcome to Talk Together. I am Chris, and thank you for joining us for an evening of talking about Dungeons and Dragons. I'm talking to the excellent, wonderful, especially awesome Anna. Know it. You know it. And we'll be talking through some enticing questions and adventurous anecdotes, and the dice decide the questions, so we'll get onto that in a second. But before we do, we're delighted to be sponsored by Hero Forge, Ultra Pro, and Elderwood Academy, and supported by D&D Beyond, Warriors of Waterdeep, and Level Up Dice. We're All Together RPG on all socials. Massive thank you to the D20 Club on Patreon, and all of our shows are available as podcasts. Just search Roll Together RPG on your favourite podcasting app. Hello, Anna.
Hello. I'd just like to say that if Level Up Dice want to employ me to record myself saying chonk chonk, so they can use it as
we've not talked about the chonk chonk yet, so I don't know if they're massive fans or if they're like, please stop. So I don't know.
I might get a cease and desist. They might hire me, who knows?
This is the best way to be. Either getting a cease and desist or getting hired is the name of the game. It is good. It is good. How's life otherwise? Are you good? How are the things?
I'm pissing off to Scotland in next month. Next month, because I'm doing a very long and very exciting theatre job. So I feel like I'm in limbo with that stuff. But other than that, I'm doing fairly well.
And how are you enjoying Warriors of Waterdeep at the moment? We're halfway through, aren't we?
I'm really enjoying it now. I was obviously a bit apprehensive at the beginning of the season. I kind of felt like Corey was at a bit of a standstill. I think there has been some beautiful role play, despite being in the Underdark. The Underdark. Well,
I don't know how this campaign became so in-jokey, but it really, really is.
I don't know. I feel like it's Niall's fault.
Probably.
I feel like we can blame. Well, actually, no. He led the horse to water, and the rest of us drank.
It has become common practice to blame Niall or Niall's character Anton for basically everything. So I think this is par for the course. It's a good thing. I think we should also blame Neomlin for stuff too, because Neomlin seems to just drive the chaos forward these days. That's what seems to be happening most often. Bathmat. Has the Bathmat episode aired yet? I think it did. I think it just finished airing. Yeah, so I think that was this week. Yeah, good. Yeah. We record slightly in advance, folks.
If we're correct.
No, I'm pretty sure. Sure, if that would make any sense to you at all, good. Anna, should we roll a dice? Want to roll a dice?
Roll dice.
Okay, I'm going to do it in my dice tower, so it's going to be noisy. Yeah. Chonk. 18. Who's the best villain you ever faced in game?
Oh. Now, I think that I did answer this question last time, but I think my answer has changed.
Good.
I think last time I said that I had a kind of soft spot for Strahd as a villain. And now I've progressed in the Strahd campaign. I just want the fucker to die.
Yeah.
I just want him to die.
Strahd's an ass.
Yeah. So we've got our final episode tomorrow, so I'm hoping that we'll end up killing him, although it's not optimistic.
This is in a home game, yeah?
Yeah. But I think I don't know why this sticks out to me, but the owlbears.
From last season of Warriors, the owlbears.
Yes, not because I love an owlbear. I love them. I have a real, I've talked about it a lot on stream. I have a real soft spot for owlbears. But that one in particular, because I think we'd all just leveled up, and me and Em in particular had like a bunch of new spells that we just used that combat as an opportunity to try.
Oh, you mullered those owlbears.
Yeah. Well, because I used enemies abound and allowed the mother to kill her children.
It's awful. So is that out of a feeling of that? Are they the worst villain because they made you feel the worst because you felt the most guilty? Is that what this is?
Yes, it's just the one that came to mind. I think also I always feel guilty if I have to kill an owlbear. Always.
I understand.
Yeah, because
Strahd is a genuine cockwomble and needs to be taken down. Like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Is that the worst?
My character in that campaign kind of came from Castle Ravenloft, so it's a bit of like a grey area. She, the rest of the party don't know this yet, but she's been given the opportunity to turn into a lich. And
Ravenloft. Oh, Ravenloft. For every edgelord NPC, DM, and player in the world to just go, hoo, 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 hoo.
Exactly. Yes. So tomorrow, we might end the Strahd battle with my character turning into a lich. And,
Has your DM gone like mega into the Ravenloft lore? Because there's a lich who is like Strahd's main like enemy. It's not in Curse of Strahd, but Azalin Rex is like this ancient lich. There's a whole different domain of dread that he looks after as well.
Yeah, I think we haven't gone that in depth, but certainly like Stuart always kind of reads the flavor text very faithfully and then also embellishes. So
okay, I see.
We've certainly, gone a little bit further than what is actually written.
This is also the point where I go, yes, lore, and unless it's David, or James, as you know, David, but unless it's David, it's like, no one cares. So there's a certain amount of, all right, fine.
And David, sometimes David will just say, there'll just be a run-on sentence of like, well, of course, and then the blah, 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 and the blah, blah, blah. And I'm just there like, why don't I just, like, am I supposed to know this?
I was reading a fascinating article earlier today about D&D lore and about like, but 5th edition has no lore. That means it's not doing a good job. And you think, I don't think it was ever that important. I think there are people like me and Dave who are like, I love knowing the lore and I love being able to talk about the lore in world, and I can agree with that. But I also think it's totally fine as a player to go, it doesn't matter. You can make your own. It's not important.
Yeah. There are times where I wish I knew more of the lore. So very, very simple things like, Corey knew about mind flayers. Anna did not know very much about mind flayers. Anna had to do some very quick Googling.
So did Ed, who clearly read it off of Wikipedia page.
Very good, yeah. So there are times where I wish that I'd be able to like summon like a little bit from my brain rather than having to like actually Google things.
I mean, I personally think that it's the DM's job in a situation where the player character knows more than the person playing that character does. It's your job to fill them in. It's your character knows that, because it means you all then get the information still, and it's as if you had delivered it, and you can start to piece it all together from that point.
Yeah, well, it's also no secret on a Roll Together stream that I deliberately like to play low intelligence characters so that I have a reason to not know things. Corey is the smartest character I think I've ever played in a Roll Together stream, and I think that's partly why she's a little bit stressful.
You know what's weird? I vacillate hugely. I love playing high intelligence characters. I like playing wizards. I like playing artificers. These are all things that I just enjoy. But I really like playing low intelligence characters so I don't have to go, but all of these things fit together. There's the thing. I can just go, nope, my character's not as smart as that. Let's walk into the room. It just takes all of that prevaricating worry out, which is interesting.
I love to play a Brad or a Tin. I love it.
Brad.
Poor Brad.
Okay, this is a question that I want to ask you. It has nothing to do with dice rolls. It's something I want to ask you. Was it too cruel to run a whole adventure where from the off it was pretty clear that none of you were going to make it?
No, I don't think it was too cruel. I think we all knew going into it that it was going to be kind of, horror and a bit, messy and a bit grim. And I think, that's part of what made that fun is that, I think we all accidentally made very lovable characters for a cold part. And it was sad to see them go. And I think there was one survivor. Who was it?
AJ's character, Carter.
Yes.
No. Carter was in the house waiting for things to arrive, and Lugo, which is Pav's character, just ran off and rolled a nat 20, so managed to survive the blizzard. Yeah. Had all this great narration for freezing to death, and no, survived the blizzard.
No. I think I'm slightly grateful that none of us actually froze to death. We were, it felt like a worthy death to be, killed twice by mind controlling, I
thoroughly enjoyed that you and G not only both died and then came back to life again, but then also killed each other. That was very pleasant.
Yeah.
Is pleasant the right word? Pleasant's not the right word, is it? It was amusing.
It was very entertaining, yeah. Which I think is the point.
I think it is the point. I agree with you. Let's roll the dice again. Go on. There we go. Oh, no. Oh, it's a nat 1.
Oh, dear. Have I fireballed myself?
What is your most epic character moment?
Oh God! You know what? I have. I've got a new one. I don't know if I answered this question last time, but if I did, I have a new one, which is that when it's coffee time, and Corey managed to. I had eye bite.
Yes.
And it was the first time I got to use eye bite, and so I got to describe like the eyes going black, and then the thing suddenly, this giant minotaur becoming afraid of this tiny, ridiculous gnome with red hair. And then the wild magic surge really had my back that day, because I cast a level 5 magic missile on this terrified minotaur.
Which made them want to run away even more. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Let's talk about It's Coffee Time, because people may not, people who aren't privy to our behind the scenes conversations, which they wouldn't be, we don't always share everything, wouldn't necessarily understand It's Coffee Time. Where did that come from for you? What is it?
Because Corey's a nightmare character. I mean, she's brilliant. She's a nightmare. She's great. And this is partly like because of some character decisions I made very early on. So I partly shot myself in the foot. But it just meant that Corey was really fun to play during useless role play or very, very low stakes combat. And everything else was incredibly stressful, because I didn't know if I was going to get the death hit of the enemy or cast a fireball on my entire party. And it became just like a real struggle of like, knowing what to do in character. And so Chris and I had a chat about, like, there was a talk of bringing forward oh my God, what's that mechanic that they get at level 14?
Controlled chaos. You get to roll twice and pick.
There was talk of bringing that forward, and for me that didn't feel quite right, because I didn't want to cheat that much. I know that we have a very loose, like,
I wouldn't count that as a cheat. I mean, this is my personal opinion. I don't like wild magic sorcerers, and that's not because they're not amazingly good fun to play, because they are. It's anything that relies on random dice rolls to make interesting things happen. Yeah. Because, like, okay, let me give you an example. The what's it called? The barbarian who's got wild magic, a wild soul barbarian. There are 8 different effects that can come into play. 8. So in an average game, you're going to experience 2 of them, which means that you as a player will start to tactically work out that, well, if I roll that, I should do this kind of conversations. Yeah. So it becomes part of play style. Yeah. The Spirits Bard gets, I think, one of 12 tales from beyond or something, and those also are very situational and very specific. A wild magic surge is a D100 roll. Yeah. There's, I think, 35 different things that could happen.
I think there's more than that.
I mean, I'm not sure how many it is. It might be more like 50, but I don't think so. 40-ish, probably. Either way, chances are you're going to experience most of them in your adventuring career, because chances are the numbers will work out relatively evenly. Which also means that chances are there'll be times where you do something absolutely incredible, where everyone's like, oh my God, that was amazing. And times where it's completely useless. Yeah. Like, there have been times where you've played where you've gone, oh, you regain all your sorcery points. You go, I hadn't spent any. Yeah. That feels like the kind of thing that would be like a combat changer. That would be like a massive turn that would change everything. And instead it was just
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of think like it's when it's good, it's so good, like Unicorn Gate, and like even things like gems and Corey grows a beard. Like when it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, like obscuring the terrain because it's raining inside, or you fireballed all your friends, or Noemlin is throwing up. It's just like, it just means that as a player, you just feel like you're hitting your head against the wall. Yeah. So I guess Coffee Time came from like Corey having this like conversation with herself where she realized that actually she could be very dangerous to her friends. Yeah. And it means that she gets to check in with them to see if the risk of her doing something bad like that is worth the extra spell power she can give to a situation.
And I mean, it was absolute kismet, which Warriors often seems to be that it just works out that way. That the moment that you as a party had gone, it's coffee time, Corey, there are going to be times where you need to just let loose, and we'll take the consequences as they come. That's part of it. And then in literally the next battle, it was, I think in the first round I did like 60 odd points of damage to Hal. I mean, it was awful. Yeah. And the ability to then go, it's coffee time, and you going, okay, and that's suddenly leading into a heroic moment and making this awful big bad want to run away. That, I think that sort of defines that in a way. And also, if it hadn't been that perfect, it would have been the perfect opportunity to go, this is what we wanted.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like we've got struck a good balance with that now. I think that's really, really cool. And I like that we've found a way for you to find enjoyment in it again. I was worried that you weren't or weren't going to.
Yeah, me too. And I think it's especially kind of probably in the last episode of season 2, and was really difficult because it just felt like that one battle where just nothing goes right. Yeah. And like everybody else is being an absolute badass, and you are actively during the process.
That battle, I think behind the screen, let me reveal this. The battle with the dragon took way longer than I thought it would. Mm-hmm. Way longer. I fully expected there to be a half hour at the end to wrap up a little bit, and we just didn't get to it. There was so much going on, so many different things. Hal getting utterly annihilated. Like there were so many different things that were unexpected and there was a lot of seat of pants, massive boss combat dealing. I purposefully put the dragon in at a super high level because you all have been bossing it through most combats. But it was, from a DM perspective, I wish it had been slightly lower level because it meant that we as a party and as a storytelling group were spending 3 hours going for 3 hours consistently. Where I'll do this, it didn't work. No, it was just the constant refrain of that entire battle. And also that D&D goes that way sometimes, you know.
Yeah. It was very frustrating, and it was very frustrating because of my character's actual makeup, which is like, it's not even like I could blame it all on my poor decisions, which is.
Do you remember, it's a home game thing, the wolves on, I smooshed a bunch of planes together to make that setting work, but the wolves that breathed fire, the hellhounds that were chasing you after the hag's hut like 2 years ago?
Just about, yeah, I do.
Because that's a combat that I also look back on, because at the time we all went, it's after the hag, where we were expecting this huge combat, which didn't happen because someone did was it Lee pulled a very smart move? Was Lee pulled a very smart move? But it was put your hand inside this bag of devouring. But then the combat after it was supposed to be a little like on the way combat, and instead, because they were hellhounds, they all fire breathed. And because that suddenly you were all in dire straits really early on, I went, gosh, these things are statted weirdly because they don't have that much health. They're not that powerful, but their fire breath is incredibly powerful. So if they will use it on the first round, that makes a humongous difference. And you all went, well, the ranger's going to stay at the back and shoot arrows, and the monk's going to run forward. And it didn't matter. Suddenly it was just everyone scrabbling desperately for their lives. Yeah,
it was, wasn't it? Didn't somebody go down in that battle? I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Toby went down, but Toby died 2 or 3 episodes before that, didn't he?
Yes. Ellen died. Ellen.
Who killed Ellen? Oh, David killed Ellen.
David killed Ellen by accident. But the actual strategy was really smart, because David, there was some barrel or something that could be blown up, and David rolled the barrel at the big bad that had swallowed Ellen and blew it up. Yeah. And and of course, in the process of killing the big bad, it killed Ellen.
I think she was already Toby's character Ellen was a paladin. She was already quite seriously damaged, and then the explosion didn't affect her. I think when something else pushed her over the edge. I can't remember. I'm
pretty sure David then stole her armor.
Yeah, of course, it's David. David then stole all her armor and said, "This is sad. We move on." That was the end of that.
Yes, if you've heard that Corey had a friend called Neop.
No, that's a spoiler. That's a spoiler. We haven't got to that episode yet. We've got that episode yet. That's next week.
Okay.
But yeah, look forward to next week where we talk about David's Githyanki. I think that's one of the few times I've seen Toby, because Toby's so easygoing. It's one of the few times I've seen him genuinely miffed. I think he was not expecting that.
No.
Oh, bless. Oh, the times.
Yeah.
Years in it. We'll roll the dice again. Don't think about the past. Good. It's a 2. 2. What spell or ability would you have IRL?
Oh my god, that's a really good question.
Wishes off the table for obvious reasons.
Yeah. I think, okay, is it called creation? Where you can make, it's something like that. You can create a 5-foot cube of basically anything.
Hang on, I'm going to Google it. I say I'm Googling it. I'm on D&D Beyond. Let's not kid.
I have it as my other sorcerer.
Creation. It's an illusion. You pull wisps of shadow material from the Shadowfell to create a non-living object of vegetable matter within range. Soft goods, rope, wood, or something similar. You can also use a spell to create mineral objects of stone, crystal, or metal. The object created must be no larger than a 5-foot cube.
Yeah.
And it lasts depending on the material. So it's a day vegetables, 12 hours for stone, 1 hour for precious minerals, 10 minutes for gems, and 1 minute for adamantine or mithril. Cool.
Yeah, I think it's that. I've used it in game a couple of times, once to feed people and once because we were in sort of like a cold heart, like a really blizzardy condition, and I created 5 cubes worth of blankets.
Okay.
Great.
We don't have to delve into this too deeply, but it disappears after a day. Are you assuming that once the food has been eaten, that the nourishment goes or that it stays?
But it stays. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. We don't need to delve too deeply into this.
No. I'm not sure I should say what my brain went to, but food has a way of leaving you anyway. So.
Okay, but is is that what went, or is the nourishment in their bodies what went as well? Because it's made of Shadowfell wisps of metal.
Yeah, because by then your body's kind of taken all the minerals and kind of like turned them into other things. By then.
But do those things go away?
No.
If a player pulled that on me as a DM, I'd be going, we need to discuss this for an hour.
I believe we did actually, and the consensus we came to was that I think they decided it was a good use of the spell, and therefore it would be unfair to not allow me.
I mean, no, it's probably where I'd end up as well. I just want there to be the joke that someone's eye suddenly pops out of existence a day later because that's where the cells went.
Yeah. Oh, I'm suddenly really hungry again. Yeah.
I'm suddenly really hungry again. Yeah, that's also good. It's like Chinese food. You made Chinese food.
I made Chinese food. Yeah.
You know what? You know I've played a lot. I've never used this spell. Not once.
I've used it a couple times. But yeah, I've only had it on that one character. But that's my thing. Is because then like I'm cold, jumper.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
Raining, umbrella.
I don't know. I think I know why I never used it, because it looks like a kind of conjuration spell, the kind of like I'm making stuff, I'm doing stuff, but it's an illusion spell, which feels weird. Fascinating. I just don't know.
Yeah.
How odd, how strange. Lovely. That's a very good answer. What a cool thing. Use creation in your games more. Chat. Yeah. That's a thing. I will certainly remember.
There's some hand wavy about the finer details, like of food and stuff, but
let's not delve into that too deeply. Quick answer, quick new question. Nat 20. Which character was the hardest to say goodbye to?
It's going to be Ursa. Because obviously we finish Strahd tomorrow. I'm gonna miss Ursa so much. I made her to be like a Wednesday Addams, basically.
Oh, lovely.
She's a grumpy drow sorcerer teenager. In hindsight, I should have also made her like multi-classed her as an artificer, because that's a Wednesday Addams thing. But I have had that group in particular. So they're such different groups. Like Roll Together don't do maps, and kind of the kind of knowledge of the game kind of underpins everybody's understanding of the game and like of the like kind of vibe we're creating. The other group do use maps, and what underpins the vibe that they're creating is pure unadulterated fucking chaos. So it's like we have players that straight up refuse to learn the rules and will just say to DM, I want to milk myself and feed this person the cheese. And it's just that was a Furbolg character, because somebody made a Furbolg.
Still, what?
Yeah.
I want to milk myself?
Yeah. I think it was for like a one session thing, and I helped them make the character. And I said, oh, you could be a furbolg. Furbolgs make good druids. And he said, what's a furbolg? And I said, it's kind of like a goat troll. And he went, if I'm a goat, his first question instantly, if I'm a goat, can I milk myself? And I said, I mean, as a male goat? He went, yeah. And I went, I mean,
Anna, I'm just going to put it out there. He will not want the milk.
No, I mean, I was like, well, I mean, DM judgment, but I don't see why not, like, as a flavour thing. So, yeah, he spent most of the session trying to get us all to eat his cheese. Yeah, that's how we spent most of our session. We also have a character in that campaign who, like, refuses to open doors. It's become a canonical thing that if there's a door, she's trying to break it down. She won't even try and see if it's unlocked, just she's breaking it down. It's become canonical that my character, every time she's down, as soon as she wakes up, she casts a fireball immediately. Doesn't matter if the enemy is still there or not.
Right. Okay.
Just a panic thing. So yeah, that game, we have all nearly died so many times.
Yeah. Unsurprisingly, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm half expecting a TPK tomorrow, but I will miss that character because that was one where it was like I entered the game a bit late, so already the vibe of chaos was created. Then when I came in and was like, oh, I'm a sorcerer, it was like just perfect. So it didn't matter. Yeah,
I don't want to be down on chaos games. Like there's chaos games are great fun. I used to DM one, but it's just not for me. And it's fine that it's not for me. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
People want different things out of their D&D. I've just started one which is very much designed to be almost pure roleplay with very little dice rolling, which I enjoy. But then if I do that a lot, I feel like give me some crunchy combat. So like tastes change. People want different things at different times. It's important.
I like having both. I like having both, and I like being able to kind of, it's not that Roll Together takes D&D more seriously, it's that Roll Together has more of an underpinning of like, this game has a structure which we are following.
Well, also, which, like, the raison d'etre is telling stories. You know, the raison d'etre isn't, I would say it isn't dumb shit. We do a lot of dumb shit, but I think the dumb shit comes out of good storytelling, not I've walked in planning to do dumb shit. Yeah. And I think that's the difference, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, my Chaos D&D group, I mean, Dave was in it. That was a game and a half. I'm sure you've heard the long and short of it, but I mean, my goodness me, the number of dumb things that party did is out of this world. There's me desperately trying to make the world real and react to your inane choices. Okay. Yeah. But Stuart's kind of the perfect DM for that because there's only so much nonsense that Stuart will put up with. And it's like, Stuart will go with us to a point. And then it gets up to a point where he's like, right, we've now been doing 45 minutes of unprepped material for me. I need to find a way back in to this boss fight or whatever it is we're doing. Well, he's running a book, isn't he?
He's running Strahd, so.
Yeah, because that's, I mean, I can't run books. I've tried. I just can't. I start extemporizing and then I never stop and we veer wildly away from what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah. And then it becomes, I've tied all of these various strands together again.
Yeah. I think that's partly where the maps are helpful in that particular game because we can be so chaotic that occasionally he just needs us to tone it down. He'll share screen and be like, this is the map.
Yeah.
This is where you are.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And by sharing the map, you can all go, okay, it's go time. Like it changes the vibe at the table. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Mm. I don't dislike maps. I dislike turning it into a war game. You know, where it's like my spell affects this number of people because that's the circle. Like, trying to fit cones into cuboid maps is just so dumb. Like, it's trying to add a sense of regimented realism. Like, realism's the wrong word. Like, regimented structure to something that really doesn't have structure. Let's be honest with ourselves. It is based on what everything's in our head.
Yeah, I find it helpful at times, but also sometimes I'm just like, Stuart, can we pretend I'm 5 foot closer? It would be really cool.
But that's the thing. As a DM, I want to say, yeah, of course you can. Oh, yeah, you are 5 foot closer.
Yeah.
Like, to my mind, the style of DMing that I feel saddest about is when a player goes, I've got a great idea. I'll use this cool ability and do this cool thing. And the DM goes, I'm sorry, you're 5 foot out of reach, so you can't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, sod off.
Yeah, Stuart's quite generous with that. My favourite thing that he says, this is my favourite, it's become like a catchphrase.
Mm-mm.
If we ask to do something really fucking stupid, then I'll be like, Stuart, can I don't know, chop the head off a thing that is across the room from me? He'll just kind of go, you can certainly try.
You can certainly, that's a mercerism, isn't it? You can certainly try.
You can certainly try.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's got like, it's very snarky and like very British. The way he says it. Apparently, what I've been told, what I do in those situations, go, yeah, I guess. Like, apparently that's the thing I throw in at that point. Yeah, I guess.
Sure, I mean...
I guess means like, I mean, technically you can, but really? Yeah.
We all have our catchphrases.
Yeah.
It's good to know your own, good to know your own sense. Okay. You're going to miss Ursa.
So bad.
Do you think that missing a character thing changes with each new character? Like you make a new one, fall in love with them, play them for a bit, and then you're going to miss them, and then it keeps turning over and over? Or is this a special case?
I think I go through waves. I think Ursa will be a special case. I missed Tin for a little while, and then I played Brad, so I don't really miss Tin anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think there's only so much I'll be able to miss Ursa because I'm still playing Corey. But I go through waves. Like I have started in the last couple of months to really miss Fury, the character from that home game we played.
Oh, your Furbolg Ranger.
Yeah.
Ranger Rogue, yes.
I'm now like itching to play a similar character again. So I think it kind of depends on what I'm wanting to play.
Bring them back if you want to. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to. That was my first ever D&D character, so. I think if I was gonna bring her back, I might redesign her a little bit. Like
the heart was in the right place. That's the important thing.
Yeah. But she was. I mean, she was great fun to play, and she was also. I feel like with Rogue Ranger, it meant I didn't have to know everything right away. Which was really cool.
You don't.
If I'd been thrown right in the deep end with the spellcaster, I would have just thought this isn't for me. But.
It's funny because Ranger often gets held up as like the worst class, and I don't think that's true. I think they're actually a nice sort of starting point balance because you've got the combat, you've got some basic like my combat's better than that person's combat stuff where you can go, I'm doing something special and different. Yeah. And then you get a little bit of spell casting on top, so you're casting like a couple spells to do a couple of cool things. You get to learn how those specific spells work, so that helps with that. I really like Rangers. I don't play them that often, but I should.
Also, Fury was buff, like muscles up the wazoo.
Fury was, I mean, to be fair, Fury was buff, Tin was buff, Brad was buff.
Am I learning something about myself?
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, true. I think there's something in me that goes stupid equals muscles, which, maybe I need to.
It's a classic trope. This is a classic trope.
Yeah. Also, Fury wasn't stupid. Fury was wise, not intelligent.
Yeah, Fury was a very good judge of character, but educated words and noises, not so much.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I challenge you. It's one of my favorite things to do is take the archetype and twist it. So stupid, like intelligence low stupid, and spaghetti arms. Like, what's that character good at? What's that character going to be like? What's that character strength going to be?
Like heart and soul.
Charisma, yeah.
Charisma. They're a sorcerer.
I mean, dumb sorcerer. I've done it once in a home game, and it's so joyous.
Yeah.
Let's go over there because life's pie. Just because you're so charismatic, everyone's like, I agree with that, but it comes from a place of no knowledge, no understanding. I
think Warlock maybe.
I mean, dumb enough to take a pact. I mean, the idea that the person's there, you belong to me now. Yep. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. Do I get biscuits?
Yeah, I totally do that.
There are no biscuits.
One day, aren't I?
There are no biscuits. Oh,
yeah. I feel like maybe you'd have more success bringing people if there were biscuits. Just saying.
Maybe I will give you a biscuit if you shut up. No, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, character concept. Done. Cool.
Yeah. My characters tend to be smart and grumpy or stupid and happy.
I have to work really hard to make smart not turn into conniving.
Yeah.
Because smart doesn't mean work out all the angles. Smart just means smart, and you don't have to play it as an ass. I'm gonna roll a dice before I overanalyze myself. There, that's what's gonna happen now. Ooh. What did dice mean to you, Anna? Number 13.
I definitely answered this last time.
Okay, then we will not ask it again. Boring. Just rolled a 13 again.
It really wants me to talk about them.
Talk about dice. The dice says talk about dice. All right. If you could make yourself in D&D, what would you be? Number 16.
I definitely answered this last time, but I think my answer has changed.
Cool. Okay.
I think I'd still be a druid.
Okay.
I don't know enough about subclasses of druid to know which one.
I can talk you through them.
Yeah.
So the two classic standard druids are land, which is druid of a certain kind of land. So like you pick like the Arctic or like woods. Yeah.
And it's all in that accent. The Arctic.
The Arctic.
Welcome to the Arctic.
I'm an Arctic druid. There's also moon druids who do all the shapeshifting. Like their wild shaping is much, much, much better at lower levels. And then you've got all of the expanded ones. So you've got dreams, which is a sort of fairy one, a fae one. Lots of healing, and you can teleport back to a place you've been before because you retrace your steps. That's a high level thing you get as that kind of druid. There's wildfire. That's what veracity is. It's all fire, just fire all the way down, flames all the way down.
Yeah, I think I'm that.
Because you're a pyro? Why?
Just because I, as a human person, okay, so we used to do a lesson at drama school called Elements, right? And I take a lot of things that happened at drama school with a bit of a pinch of salt.
Sure.
In fact, I'm not that because I'm misremembering this story. I'm about to tell you for why. And so it was a movement lesson. And it was like, if you move as air, you're like a bit floaty and a bit heady. And if you move as earth, you are staunch and blah, blah, blah. And if you move as fire, you're like quite unpredictable and like, bursts of flame or whatever. And then water obviously being very fluid. And they decided in their infinite wisdom one day that they were going to go around the circle and have us all tell each other what we were. So then
great. Yeah.
And it goes air. And it's like air, earth, earth. Air, earth, air, earth, earth, like the kind of the normal ones. And I'm last, and they get to me. I'm giggling profusely, and the teacher goes, "Anna's water." And I was like, "What?" And then I started giggling more because I felt awkward. And everybody went, "Anna's water." And I now cannot help but notice that my arms just kind of do this of their own free will, and like my head doesn't look where I want it to, and like that I'm just a bit jelly-like in myself. Yeah,
but that's not the best will in the world. You are not fluid. You don't like laze into a room and float around.
No, but I don't stomp into a room, and I don't kind of headily carry myself tall enough to be air, or what these people were saying is air. So I was water.
One of the options is an erratic, unpredictable movement person. You're quite erratic.
You think I am the fire? Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, because
maybe I've developed into the fire. Maybe I am the fire druid then. And
I would describe your movement as spiky. Like there's a certain amount of like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yes. I think fair enough. So fire druid then, that's settled.
Cool. That means you get a little wax buddy. A wax buddy.
Oh my god. Am I allowed two? Am I allowed one that's a cockapoo and one that's a golden retriever?
I mean, you can change what it looks like every day.
Great. They alternate. That's fine. So I get to keep my dogs with me.
Yeah, good.
And I think last time I said I was a gnome, and I think that's a silly answer because I take up quite a lot of space in the world.
You're just tall.
Yeah. Tall, but also like.
Yeah. corners, angles, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like maybe a satyr.
Interesting. Fun-loving party town?
Yeah. But also just a little bit neurotic.
Neurotic satyr. It's a party. Who's bringing the drinks? I'll think about it.
Yeah. Does everyone like me or not?
Anna. Neurotic satyr, idiot, high charisma warlock.
Yeah.
I mean...
I could do that.
That's splendid.
I could definitely do that. Yeah.
Would you like to make an eternal pact? Can you bring the drinks for the party? Because I forgot them and it's important.
Yeah,
and
I was meant to buy ice and I didn't.
You're making an infernal pact for your soul for ice?
Well, it's really important. Everyone needs to have cold drinks. I don't know what to tell you.
That's got to be low wisdom as well, then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No sense of self-preservation at all.
Yay.
That's a great point. I like
there we go. We've sorted it.
Done. I mean, that was the purpose of today's interview, was to work out a character. We've done it. We've achieved.
Oh my God, I'm a bard.
Yeah,
of course I'm a bard.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't want to tell you that you weren't a druid, but
you're
obviously
I'm a bard.
Anna, how many instruments do you play?
to what degree of success?
That's already my answer is none, possibly one, because I used to play piano, and that's it.
I play 3 instruments well. I play 4 other instruments.
What does meh mean? Does it mean you could play like 9/10 of music on them?
No. It means like, okay, so if my 3 that I play well, I probably could play grade 6 or above.
Okay.
My 3 that I play, I could probably play grade 4 or above, maybe grade 5 or above.
That's still really good.
Is it? Okay, fair. And I heard myself. And then there are probably another 3 or so on top of that I'm like, I have picked up and played in a show, and if you really needed me to, I could do it.
I mean, there's a neurotic bard in a hatch. In a nutshell, that's what that is. Yeah. I mean, I can play them, but not as well as that person can play them, which means I'm terrible. That's not.
Yes,
no, that's not.
I'm a bard. I'm a bard.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely a bard. 100%. Mm-hmm. How did I not? I didn't think of that last time.
No.
And I've only just thought of that now. How has it taken? What? It's been a year since I last did the talk together. Like, how have I not? This whole time. I played Oink, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, which was basically you. A happy-go-lucky bard.
Pig bard. Oh, possibly the character creation I'm most proud of.
Oink.
Pig bard. Oink. Just think, pig bard.
All of the Busy Bees characters, and even the ones in the expansions that have come off it, I always look back on as they're quite pure.
Yeah.
There's none of the whole like, oh, what lore is this? And what is this? Just now I'm a pig who plays a ukulele. Like it's just really simple.
Or the bagpipes. As G so beautifully drew on the cover art for Busy Bees, just a pig playing the bagpipes. It's fucking wonderful. That's my favourite cover art as well, the Busy Bees cover art.
Well, it's so much more cartoony. Like he's playing, like G's an amazing artist, but playing with style for him is nice because you get to see all the different facets of what he can do. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that I presented him with, please draw a pig that can play the bagpipes, and he came up with something beautiful.
And presented him with, please put a carrot on surfing on a carrot. Like. Yeah.
That's a great character. The Badger Barbarian. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're all very pure characters. It's like very distilled. Yeah.
And then Tom's adorable otter fighter, who turns out to be another Poppet character, which is just what Tom does.
Yeah. Oh.
Bless, we should bring them all back too.
Yeah.
Got some of them back. We should bring them all back. Busy Bees Weekender. Organize 7 schedules and try and get that sorted. Never going to happen. Right. I think we've got time for one more question. I think that's what we'll do. I'll roll the dice, see what happens. Oh ho. Aha. No, I'm not going to ask that. It's what do you like in a DM? I feel like me asking that to you is a bit, self-indulgent. I'm not going to ask that. No.
We've also talked about you and Stuart, and I answered that last time when David was interviewing. So
what did you say last time?
I said I like somebody who. I said something about. It sounded like I was being a fun killer. That's what I remember. I was really worried about.
I said something that sounded like I was killing the fun. Okay.
Yeah, I said something about I like a DM who knows how to keep everybody enjoying themselves equally, basically, so that it's not one person's vision. They keep us all playing as a team. It's kind of something. I said something like that.
Well, I don't want to self-indulge myself, so I'm going to roll the dice and we will not ask it again. Okay. 17. How do you feel about fudging rolls?
My view on this has changed. I was like, it's cheating. And there is a bit of me that's still it's like, oh my God, it's cheating. I feel so bad. And I myself don't do it frequently. Only if something is really going to derail everything. Mm-hmm. And I don't particularly mind when other people do it either. So in general, fine. However, it does annoy me when it's somebody has clearly rolled 5 nat 20s in a row and they just want to get the final hit on the big boss and it just that for me is okay, well now you're just wanking on this game. And I did not consent to that.
Yes, this is
yeah, but in general, fine, pretty good.
It's funny because this is going to sound like a really weird answer to this question. I don't think it's a big deal. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. I sat in a room as a player with another player. If they're fudging rolls, how am I going to know? And I don't care. Yeah. There is some joy to be had out of watching the dice roll and see the result and then all react to it because you see it happen. But I mean, there are times where that comes up, but every single roll, I don't care.
Yeah. I think there are times when it's when it's actively hindering somebody else's fun.
Yeah.
Where I think you should do it one way or the other. So a really good example would be a wild magic sorcerer where say you've accidentally in the same combat made somebody throw up and you've lost less than somebody's hit points and then you roll something that's I'm going to cast a fireball. That roll I might fudge because that's then going to hinder everyone else's fun.
Yeah.
If you're in a PvP situation, I think fudging rolls to make yourself beat the other character, that's going to hinder everyone else's fun. I think as long as it's not hindering everyone else's fun, I'm happy for it to happen.
That's where I put it. 9/10 of D&D rolls don't matter. And then there are some where I would say that it does matter, where the whole sort of concept of open rolling makes more sense to me, where the dice rolling is part of the game and we all watch the dice to see what the result is. There are moments, especially with PvP, where in a room with friends, you want to see that. Obviously, it's very different and very hard to work out. I like the fact that Beyond has the ability to show everybody the dice rolls as well, because it also means that if you have that moment where you want to see the result, and you don't always know you want that moment. Suddenly someone rolls a saving throw and they roll a 2 and you all go, oh, it's all fine, we're all good. Oh, no. Oh, we're not all fine. And the player's just looking a bit sad and you can see the 2 on the screen like that.
I like using the Beyond dice for the Warriors campaign, particularly in front of Ed. because if I roll a nat 1, Ed will immediately commiserate before I've even reacted. Yeah. They're oh no, it's great. It's really funny.
I mean, Ed's a very what's what I'm looking for? Emotional. It's not emotional. Yeah. He's a very emotive person. He is someone who likes to emotionally engage with people, so that comes through, which is really
He's very invested in the game.
Invested. Yeah. Which is lovely. He's invested in you as a friend as well, which is just gorgeous. Just a lovely person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot gets said about fudging rolls. It's it's a sin, it's an awful thing, and some other people go, oh no, it's sacrosanct and you definitely shouldn't. Or I think there's quite a lot of it where I'd go, I don't think it's actually that important.
Yeah.
There are points where, for example, I think Rebecca's a great example for this. Rebecca's dice rolls are insane. I've seen them in real life. Those are all real. And there is a point to that where you go, that is someone who just always rolls well. They always have done. I don't know what it is. There's just some ongoing sense of weird luck about them that means it happens, where I go, it's fun to know that is chaos distilling in a weird way for a specific person. That's really fun.
And then there's George.
And then there's George, which is the other side of that, where I go, you've made a super cool character, and that character is super cool, and they now seem like a bit of an idiot because they keep hitting themselves with things.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's disappointing, because that means the dice fall the way they do, but it changes the tone of the character that you have made, and I don't necessarily agree with that. Yeah.
If you're actively looking to make a very competent character, a bad roll, I can totally understand why you'd want to fudge it. If you're like me and you just make bumblefucks, bad rolls don't matter all that much.
But what that means in D&D terms is if you make a character who is, part of the character is being an actively competent character, there's going to be times where they do dumb stuff for no good reason because the dice has 20 sides, and that seems a shame. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have dice rolls in D&D. I think they're very important because it's a game. It's still a game that you're trying to roll dice and win. That's part of the game. I just don't think it's that big a deal, Sometimes if people do, I don't care. Sometimes if they do, it's like, this is one we really need to see openly, friends. Like that's different. Especially PvP. That's a really good example, actually, of a place where it can be absolutely toxic if it's not open or shared or discussed.
Exactly. Yeah. I kind of think for PvP, dice rolls should all be open.
Yeah. I mean, in the rare points where PvP actually happens. Yeah. Do you get that a lot in your home game? Because it sounds, with the chaos, does it turn into PvP?
Sometimes we have a player, Azim. I fucking love him. He's a chef, so he's a wild job, which means he doesn't play very frequently. No. But when he does, he plays this absolute cunt called Cerberus Black. And when Cerberus Black comes in, it's like everybody's mission to fucking kill the bastard. And we are doing a battle royale tonight. Like, before we face Strahd tomorrow, we just leveled all our characters up to level 20 and to have a battle royale, which is going to be really fun. Great fun. But Azim is playing, so Cerberus is going to be there. Like, guaranteed. It's going to, Cerberus is gone, mate. Absolutely gone. But he's a cleric, so he's, annoying because he can just heal himself.
Yeah, but not that much. Not if you're all piling on.
No, but, I'm a bit, I think he might have something up his sleeve.
You're level 20, you'll all have amazing magic items, so have something up his sleeve.
Yeah.
But there's a good example of a game where I'd go, that needs to all be open rolls, because
so we're using D&D Beyond and we're all looking at the game track.
See, there's one where it needs to be. There's one where it's super important that it is. I think in some home game environments I'd agree with that too, but especially in the context of live play, there are points where it would just be a terrible story. Yeah. I don't like that. I think that is a shame.
Yeah, exactly. But it's nice to have a bastard character that comes in and out. That's really good fun.
I feel sorry for the person, because this seems probably not a bastard. He's probably really nice.
Oh no, he's great. We fucking love him.
Yeah.
But he made a bastard. He deliberately made an asshole that we would all hate. And
But then you've got to have the strength of character to go, I'm so lovable that people won't actually think this about me. That'd be really tough.
And he does. Stuart checks in with him all the time, and they all go for pints. I don't get to see them very often because I don't live in the same place anymore. But they all go for pints together all the time. That's cool. If everyone's checking in, then it's fine.
It's one of the things that makes situations like which is basically PvP setup in it. Like the ability to have check-ins about all that is so important anyway. But I hate playing that kind of conflict. It doesn't work for me. I get too concerned about, do they really hate me? Because my anxiety is bad enough as it is. Yeah. But still.
Yeah.
I think we've come to the end of our time, Anna. It's good chatting to you about this stuff there. It's nice.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Anna, is there anything you particularly want to plug? Anything you're currently working on that people may not know about?
If you're in the Scotland area, the country of Scotland.
If you're in the entirety of Scotland, this massive country.
If you're anywhere near Pitlochry, I am doing the Pitlochry. It's sort of, my understanding of it is it's quite central, sort of halfway between Dundee and Loch Lomond.
Doesn't help me at all. I don't know why.
Basically, from what I've seen on a map, if this is Scotland, this is Pitlochry. It's like in the pretty bit.
Is it near Glasgow?
North of Glasgow.
North.
Like quite about an hour north of
Their
Glasgow.
website says, like, pitlochry.org is welcome to Pitlochry, the heart of Scotland.
Yeah, pretty much. Central Scotland. If you're from the Central Scotland area, I am doing the Pitlochry Festival Theatre summer season. I'm doing Sunshine on Leith, which is going to be funny because I can't do a Scottish accent. I'm doing Little Women.
Let's hear the Scottish accent.
No.
Oh.
Maybe not. I tell you what, on the process of this job, I'm expecting my Scottish accent will improve. So when I get back, I will do a Scottish character. Okay, that's my promise. And then you will all hear the Scottish accent.
You're not doing a Scottish accent with me for the final bit? No.
Not even slightly, no. I'm doing Little Women. I can do an American accent, so that's good. And I'm also doing the series of like musical theatre cabaret evening. Anybody in that area can come to that.
Sounds lovely. Who are you playing in Little Women?
Amy, the youngest sister.
Right. Okay.
I will need a wig. It will be great.
Is Amy the one that dies?
No, that's Beth. Spoiler alert.
I mean, if you're going to watch Little Women at a theatre festival in Pitlochry, I think you know that one of them dies horribly. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for pitching and sharing, and I'm sure there'll be links in chat and that sort of thing. And obviously, we're doing Warriors of Waterdeep on Tuesdays for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Four. Yes, because we just had the fight with Belarath, which was week 4. So there's 4 more weeks to go. That's right. Yes, good. Good. That's on Tuesdays right now. And on Mondays, we currently have, I think we just had the grand finale of a Shadow. It's called a Shadowfell Symphony. We work in acronyms behind the scenes, and it shortens to ASS. So in my head, it's just the finale of ASS. Nice. So yes, we're doing the ASS finale this week. No, we just did the ASS finale, and then next week we're starting Emma's new campaign, Chaos in the Collection, with some friendly faces and some new faces as well. So that'll be nice. So join us for that on Monday. These are all at 6 p.m. GMT, and they run till 9 p.m. GMT. And then on Friday we have Talk Together, which you just watched, which runs for about an hour. All of our shows stream at twitch.tv/AllTogetherRPG. There's a YouTube link in chat, and there's also some podcast links, or you can just search your favorite podcasting app for Roll Together RPG. Massive thank you to the D20 Club on Patreon. You are excellent, wonderful, and splendid, and fantastic. Yes, you are. Massive thank you to our sponsors and supporters. And Anna, would you like to sign off with David's signature catchphrase?
Stay classy at the table.
Stay classy at the table.